Here we have set up the one-player solo variant of Istanbul. It is pretty much the same setup as the multiplayer game with a few changes. Let's take a look at those. Here we have two of the tiles that have changed from the multiplayer setup to the solo variant setup. We have the Sultan's Palace and we have the Gemstone Dealer. Here each place is only going to get 3 rubies on it, starting with the furthest ruby, skipping one and placing the next 2. Another setup change involves the Tracker Merchant. He will be placed on the very first tile in the board with his pool of merchants off to the side to mark how many times you've gone through the board. Now we're going to talk about the rule changes of the solo variant. After taking a action, each turn you're going to move the Tracker Merchant 1 space. He's going to keep count of how many turns it takes you to complete getting 6 rubies. When the Tracker Merchant reaches the last tile on the board, he'll be moved back to the first tile, placing one of the assistants underneath it to let you know that it is its second, third, or fourth time through the tiles. When gaining a mosque tile, you remove the top mosque tile from the game from each other mosque tile, increasing the purchase by 1, with a maximum of 5 goods for a tile. When you sell at one market, you not only change the market for the market you sold at, but you will also change it at the other market in the game. If the tracker marker enters a tile with your family member, you may pay 3 lira or 1 bonus card to return the family member. If you enter a space that contains the tracker merchant, you must pay 2 lira to the bank to enter it or pass through it. The game ends when you've gotten your 6th ruby. You find out how many rounds it's taken you, and that is your score. You can also try this variant with the Mocha and Bakshish expansion. Here are the rule changes for that variant. Only place 2 rubies at the coffee house, starting at the end, skipping one and placing the other. You may use the barrier in order to impede the tracker merchant 1 time, slowing him down. Also, whenever you purchase from the small market or large market, also change the market at the tavern. When purchasing from the small mosque or great mosque, not only remove the top tile from those mosques, but also from the expansion tiles as well. Alright, so what did I like? Well, it has a similar feel to the base game. The decisions you have to make, the way your turns and moves develop, the feel of racing around the market, it feels like you are playing the multiplayer game in many ways. It is easy to play. The hardest thing to remember is if you advance the merchant that round. If that's the hardest thing you have to deal with in a variant, you're going to have an easy time playing. I also like that there are new interactions on the board. Manipulating the family member to run into the merchant, and having money or card at that time to send them back. Using the barrier to stop the merchant from moving for a turn, and those new decisions on how the mosques get discarded really changes the way you might go about getting those mosques. And it changes some of the decisions you have to make from an already great base game. Alright, what don't I like about this variant? Well, I'm not sure how much long-term replayability there is. The board is modular, so the tile positions are always different each game, and you roll dice, and you draw cards at random, and the markets, mosques, and post offices all change in-game every game, but maybe eventually you'll find it repetitive. I also didn't like that the board setup was a bit meticulous. Setting up a board game like Istanbul for a multiplayer game is not something you give two thoughts about. It's not long, it's not laborious, but for a solo game, it may be a little bit longer than desired, or be a little bit frustrating to reset a random board for back-to-back games. Overall, I really enjoyed this variant. It's simple and plays true to the original game. My best score was 36 rounds. What was yours?
Hey, I'm Hans, and if you like what you saw, go ahead and click subscribe below, and good things will happen for you forever.